Everyone in our hobby tracks the latest and most critically acclaimed games. But what was the first list of that kind and when was it made? I think I've found it, and we will feature it today on Legendary Tactics. Our viewers might be familiar with the website wargamegeek.com, which is the database of our hobby. One of the things that we all check obsessively is what is known as the HOTNESS list, which lets us know which games are being talked about the most. There's also a rating system where people can submit their thoughts on games, and these can be averaged out to give an overall rating. But this concept is not a new one. In fact, I may have found the first one that was ever done. For this, we will have to go back to September-October of 1975, when the Volume 12 No. 3 issue of The General was released by Avalon Hill. This issue mainly focuses on the game Jutland, but on page 30 towards the bottom, I believe we have our first HOTNESS list. Essentially, the list asks readers to rate games on 9 different categories. They are physical quality, map board, components, ease of understanding, completeness of rules, play balance, realism, excitement level, and overall value. These were then averaged into a rating of cumulative value. Like golf, a lower rating is better. Think of it as though they were choosing their number 1 game. Game length was noted, but not part of the evaluation. Each unit of game length represented 10 minutes of play, so a rating of 6 meant it took an hour. So what were the hottest Avalon Hill games of 1975? Let's take a look. Coming in at number 10 was Midway, with an overall value of 2.88. Midway is a game that recreates the Battle of Midway, which took place in 1942 between the US and the Japanese. As a game, it plays a little bit like a fancy version of Battleship. The game is rated pretty well overall, with the only weak spot being in play balance at 3.66. At number 9 we have Luftwaffe. This game was given a cumulative rating of 2.87, only slightly better than Midway. Luftwaffe is a game that recreates the bombing of Germany from 1943 to 1945 and that country's frantic efforts to defend itself. This was rated well across the board, again only suffering from a weak rating in play balance. At number 8 there is France 1940, again only a marginal improvement in cumulative value over the other 2 previously mentioned games at 2.82. This game focuses on the invasion of France in 1940 and tries to answer the question as to why the French army collapsed so quickly against the German blitzkrieg. It has outstanding ratings for both component quality and overall quality, but an even worse rating in play balance at 4.05, and its rating for excitement level isn't great at 3.4. Number 7 is Chancellorsville. This game deals with an American Civil War battle that most people have never heard of. It's a bit of a surprise here, as the board game Chancellorsville introduced hex-based maps back in 1961 and aesthetically was considered to be a bit of an eyesore. I have to assume that this game is rating the 1974 reboot of the game by in-house designer Randall Reed. In terms of cumulative rating, it's a reasonable improvement from number 8 at 2.68. Again, play balance is the worst rating given at 3.43. Otherwise, it is solidly rated across the board. Number 6 makes more sense. Panzerblitz is a game that recreates armored warfare on the Eastern Front during World War II at the tactical level. It is again a reasonable improvement on the cumulative rating of number 7 with 2.58. The best ratings are in physical quality at 2, components at 2.03, realism at 2.05, excitement level at 2.07, and overall value at 2.05. Where this game loses some ground in the ratings is on ease of understanding with a 4.03 and completeness of rules at 3. Otherwise, it is a very highly rated game. Number 5 is The Rise and Decline of the Third Reich. This is a grand strategic level game that recreates the entirety of World War II in Europe. At the time, this was a brand new game, having only come out the year before. It is rated quite well across the board, with the best being a 1.95 in excitement level. Where it is not rated as well is in ease of understanding with a rating of 4.15 and in completeness of rules at 3.22. I can understand that, as it is apparently a bear to learn. Interestingly, it comes in only marginally better than Panzerblitz at 2.57, a difference of only 0.01. Number 4 is 1776, a game that simulates the American Revolutionary War that was released just in time for the bicentennial anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Its best rating is for the map board at 1.76, and physical qualities aren't bad either at 2.16. Otherwise, it's rated as fairly average across the other categories, with the worst being ease of understanding at 3.27. But somehow it comes out as slightly better than both Third Reich and Panzerblitz, beating them in cumulative value by 0.01 and 0.02 respectively. And now we are at the top 3. If you enjoy this kind of video, it would be helpful if you could take a moment to hit the like button now, subscribe to the channel, and perhaps comment down below somewhere. At number 3, we have Richthofen's War, a game about World War I aerial warfare that features all the classic planes and maneuvers of the era. It's a decent improvement over the rating of 1776 with a 2.52. This game does well in ratings across the board, with its best being the components at 2.12. It also has the shortest game length rating of any games in the top 10, taking about an hour to play. The only weak spot is perhaps the completeness of rules at 2.94. It's not a bad rating, just the worst of the bunch. Number 2 is Panzerleader, which moves the Panzerblitz system to the Western Front. This is another game that is rated well in every category and ends up with only a slightly better rating than Richthofen's War at 2.50. It scores best in the map board at 2.17, realism at 2.19, and overall value at 2.2. The only thing holding it back is the rating of 3.65 on ease of understanding. Before we get there, can you take a guess at the highest rated game on this list? I'll give you a few seconds. Finally, our number 1 game as of the fall of 1975, Anzio. This was a game that recreates the slow and deadly invasion of Italy by the Allies in World War II. It was originally released in 1969, but it underwent many revisions, and I would think that the ratings are based on its most recent iteration of the time. The cumulative rating is 2.36, which is a substantial improvement over Panzerleader. The map board is the most highly rated at 1.74, but it does very well in every category except ease of understanding, which is rated at 3.74, and completeness of rules at 2.88. And, as a point of interest, the worst rated game, on this list anyway, is Kriegspiel. Its cumulative rating is 4.04, with its worst rating being realism at 6.09, excitement level at 5.2, and overall value at 5.29. Well, at least it doesn't take long to play, at about 100 minutes. So there you have it, the top 10 games on the 1975 version of the Hotness list. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe down below. This is Legendary Tactics.